Gonna hang on, let a few more people join. Give it a couple of minutes if that's okay.
Just a quick sound test. You hear me all right? Rich? Cool.
Daniel, I think we should get started.
Cool. Well, I guess 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, everyone. Thank you for trusting us with about 45 minutes roughly of your time today. I hope everyone will gain something valuable from this webinar called IAQ Needs Tech. Our guest and speaker today is Richard Greenwood. For those who are not familiar with him, Richard has been a prominent voice in the field of clean air technology since 2017 and has recently joined forces with INB Korea to provide the latest clean air tech to the world. Richard, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Daniel. And hi, everybody. I didn't think I'd be doing more webinars on IAQ for the past few years, but a few months ago, I joined INB Tech or INB Korea as their Chief Operating Officer. And so it's good to be back. And as Daniel said, hopefully we'll deliver something that's insightful this evening. We've also got a bit of a product launch to share with you this evening as well. So let's get going. Ventilation is hugely important for indoor air quality. And I firmly believe that it should be at the forefront. I had a break from the industry for a few years, and upon returning this year, I can see that indoor air quality focus is on HVAC, which is good, but it should not be blinkered to technology advancements because we simply cannot move enough air sustainably, especially to comply with infection risk management. So those in the industry know that to create good indoor air quality through ventilation alone requires many air exchanges, which comes at a financial cost, but more importantly, it's not sustainable. And standards and compliance within HVAC are super important, don't get me wrong. Some of the LinkedIn posts I see with regards to HVAC fails are just criminal, and another reason to think of indoor air quality to include the occupied spaces of buildings. So what if HVAC design and upgrading can also take place within the rooms that it services, utilizing the latest technologies to deal with pollutants like VOCs and microbial contamination? Meet the required indoor air quality with occupied space technologies that work with HVAC systems, which can deliver sensible air exchanges. As you see from some of the technologies we're going to discuss, just keep this in mind as we go along with this. So, like many clean air technology product manufacturers, INB Korea was flat out during COVID and sent out hundreds of thousands of virus killer units around the world. A lot of important airborne infection management studies emerged during COVID and post-COVID, and they led to changes in INB's technology approach, which is the right thing to do. So one of the biggest reasons I joined forces with INB Korea this year is their willingness for change and the speed and passion that turns that change into new directions and technology advances. INB is at its core, it's a 20-year-old company, but it's got the flexibility and the hunger of a startup company. And the pandemic also taught many lessons on the importance of airflow and air decontamination technologies being able to complement HVAC systems, which ones do and which ones don't. It's a bold move from INB to go from the premium virus killer range to a very low cost upper violet range. And it shows that technology moves on, so we should move on also. It also, to me, feels right to bring an efficient air decontamination technology to market that is affordable, as it should be accessible to those people who need it. So spurred on by the pandemic, ASHRAE 241 standard is something that is a giant leap forward in infection risk management. It's the first standard to come from ASHRAE to promote supplemental technologies to complement ventilation and filtration. So much so that they created a new method and calculator for air exchanges per hour called equivalent clean air. Within ASHRAE 241, they also proposed another important initiative called IRMM, or Infection Risk Management Mode. Knowing that the economic and environmental burden is far too high to ask buildings to increase their HVAC ability to comply with ASHRAE Standard 241, the sensible approach to include additional clean air technologies was made. So we will display the most cost-effective and efficient methods of being infection risk management mode ready. And I commend ASHRAE on this incredible and important standard. Going back to my previous point about HVAC, there can be no denying that a multi-tech approach is key to providing building indoor air quality and proper infection risk management. The technology that really shined during COVID was upper room UVGI, as it maximizes UV radiation in occupied spaces safely, efficiently, and economically. The CDC notes that for airborne viral particles, upper room UVGI systems provide air changes per hour that are similar to the introduction of clean air into the space. IRMM stands for infection risk management mode. And it's a super leap forward by ASHRAE and their standard 241, as I've already mentioned. So being prepared for the next endemic means a much greater degree of control. And to be ASHRAE 241 compliant, we need to bring clean air technologies into the mix. So I can't stress this enough. If we look at ASHRAE 241 standards compared to ASHRAE standard 62.1, ASHRAE 241 proposes up to 6 times more equivalent air changes in education, office, and healthcare buildings. So as this study shows, upper room UVGI has been shown to safely, quietly, effectively, and economically produce the equivalent of 10 to 20 or more air changes per hour under real-life conditions. This is the main reason that INB switched its development focus to advancing upper room UVGI. And as this study shows, using upper room UVGI within the desired space is the same as increasing the ventilation air changes per hour by 7 times. And even more impressively, when used with ventilation systems to increase air movement, that showed a 10-fold increase in air changes per hour. So the key takeaway from this is that upper room UVGI works with increased air movement, be that from HVAC or from a fan. Upper room UVGI has a great history, but not much innovation has happened with this technology over the last 80 years. So it became INB's focus with regards to the most effective way of combating airborne pathogens in occupied spaces, being able to offer a cost-effective, efficient modular solution to enable buildings to enter infection risk management mode. On the slide, you can see 2 upper room UVGI units installed in a classroom over 80 years ago. And this study resulted in reducing measles transmission by a huge 75%. So it's fair to say that upper room UVGI is the most time-served air disinfection technology available. And thanks to recent studies, it shows that it's still the best. So I read a great European Commission study, which was published only last month, ranking technologies for indoor pathogen transmission reduction. The link will be in the recording, and I really recommend reading it. As you can see from the diagram, it champions ventilation and filtration, followed closely by UV radiation. The main issue with ventilation and filtration is the cost, both economic and environmental. To achieve the required air changes per hour takes a lot of power and probably would also require expensive upgrades of current systems. So to rehash this point, I believe that the key solution is to combine filtration and ventilation with upper room UVGI. Use tech in conjunction with HVAC to achieve the desired result in the most sustainable and cost-effective way. This is exactly what ASHRAE 241 refers to and why they have designed the equivalent air exchange calculator and methodology. I'm a firm believer that functionality is a key part of technology because it can maximize efficiency and effectiveness. Making something function better is tech development. And that's exactly what we have done with upper room UVGI. So upper room ultraviolet germicidal irradiation. It's quite a mouthful. That's why we have named it upper violet. So upper room UVGI is 80 years old, still the best use of UV light in occupied spaces, and the best technology for reducing microbial contamination risk, as it creates many more equivalent air exchanges than filtration. I want to refer to something else that I saw in the European Commission study, as way before this study was published, we had the very same goals for our upper violet development. And I'll run through those goals. So 1, affordability. For wide-scale deployment and use, we had to make upper violet as affordable as possible. This was one of our main targets, and with an RRP of $350 US, we really achieved affordability. You can see that on the CDC website that they give an average cost for an upper room UVGI unit as being $1,500. So $350 is really making this tech affordable. So number 2, applicability. This was another integral part of upper violet, and we designed a modular compact unit that can be used in homes or offices, and multiple units can then be used in larger spaces or high foot flow areas. One size fits all when you can multiply it, right? So number 3, broad spectrum pathogen elimination is what you get with upper room UVGI. But we thought it could be better, and we included the INB catalyst to include oxidation. We used the catalyst to focus the UV light in one direction. And if you think there are over 4,000 tiny hexagon tunnels in the catalyst that ultraviolet uses, we also use the UV light not only for its irradiation power, but as a power source for the catalyst. The combination makes perfect sense, and this has created the first multifunctional upper room UVGI unit, and also effectively deals with VOCs and odors. So number 4, energy consumption. Energy consumption in use was another focus, and we were really determined to keep upper violet as a DC low-powered unit. It's the only DC-powered upper room UVGI system available. And because of the low power, we had to increase efficiency with functionality. So we made the unit rotate from side to side. This rotation enhances the UV irradiation chamber by 2.11 times. So functionality made up for the low power. Number 5, the type of deployment. Again, this is really important, and it was a key consideration as we wanted to make upper violet as compact and lightweight as possible for the easiest wall mounting possible. We stack 2 UV lights, one above each other, and we used lightweight materials to manufacture, resulting in units that are super easy to install, and they're as compact as possible. And as I said before, modular. So we weren't content with only being able to attach upper violet to a wall, which brings me to the next thing on the agenda, the UVC stand. We wanted upper violet to be able to be deployed anywhere and protect everywhere. So we've created something really unique and also something that just makes sense. C-stands are commonly used for holding large, heavy equipment such as speakers and cameras and things like that. And we've adapted the C-stand so we can securely mount 2 upper violet units, which can be deployed anywhere and safely operate above head height in occupied spaces. Roll in the carrier bag, set up the stand with the unit and plug it in. Within minutes, you've got a super efficient air decontamination technology that can be deployed anywhere. So being able to quickly deploy an efficient, cost-effective, low-power air decontamination technology in any occupied indoor space is an industry game changer. An air decontamination technology which is not only effective against microbial contamination, but also VOCs and odors. And this patent-pending UVC stand doesn't only serve as a safety solution for things like emergency aid or military deployment, as you can see in the slide, it also offers a responsive air decontamination solution that can be quickly deployed during outbreaks. The best way of getting buildings into infection risk management mode. So we created something else to go alongside the UVC stand, outbreak.solutions. And this is a template website of how upper violet and the UVC stand can be used as a service as well as products. So just think about this. How are pests defined? Pests are any living things, including microorganisms, such as bacteria and viruses, that cause annoyance and disruption to humans. So is it time that we see dangerous viruses and bacteria for what they are, pests? So imagine During a virus outbreak, you're able to call pest control. They come and deploy solutions that get rid of the pests, and then they come and take their equipment away. So could infection risk management mode be a phone call away? There's a trend towards leasing rather than owning. Affordable leasing of air decontamination technologies for occupied spaces is a market gap that needs filling. Deploy anywhere and protect everywhere. Pest control for the most dangerous and costly pests that we encounter. It's a really bold move, and it would need a wide coverage for it to work, but maybe this is the future, especially for those who've been caught out. I mentioned on an earlier slide that we don't just use UV light for its radiation, but also as a power source for our catalyst. A structure is needed to train the UV light to remain above head height. So why not have that structure as a catalyst? It improves the microbial kill rate and enables the unit to efficiently deal with VOCs and odors as well. For us, this just makes sense. INB Korea is at its heart a catalyst company, founded in 2004 with funding from the South Korean government to create virus killer technologies in response to SARS coronavirus. INB has been developing its catalyst technologies for over 20 years, and this latest catalyst advancement just breaks new ground. Here you can see some test results on VOCs from one of our catalyst-only units. No filters. This means that the VOCs are being neutralized, they're not being trapped. And the level of VOC reduction is really high, by far the best that we've ever seen for a filterless catalyst device. So INB have also developed a specialist ammonia filter, which means it's designed specifically to have maximum efficiency against ammonia. It was tested and it shows a greater than 20 times efficiency at ammonia removal compared to a standard activated carbon filter. And here is how our ammonia filter compared in the identical test to the INB catalyst on ammonia. You can see that there's very little difference, and in fact, the filterless device, the catalyst, performed even better than the specialist filter. So this gives you a picture of how much better the INB catalyst is at these airflows compared to a standard activated carbon filter, which is commonly used. The key advances in the INB catalyst can be broken down to enhance surface area and adhesion. And I'll try and put this in layman's terms. So you can see from this image, which is a real photograph, it's something I posted on LinkedIn today, and it just shows you the size of the hexagon tunnels, the structure. We formed this to create lots of tiny tunnels, creating a huge surface area. The area is then treated, the surface area is treated, which creates its own three-dimensional microscopic surface structure. And then we apply the catalyst material, which in this case is titanium dioxide. INB has to do a lot of stress testing to ensure that no nanoparticles are released when the catalyst is under pressure, i.e. when it sees ultraviolet light. So finally, after years of research, they found the perfect structure with the least amount of air resistance whilst creating the highest possible surface area. both structurally and microscopically. And that allows for optimal catalyst adhesion. And the results are just incredible. A highly efficient filterless technology for VOCs and microorganisms. In the upper violet unit alone, there's over 4,000 of those tiny tunnels. This is a real leap forward. What are the uses? So many uses within HVAC filtration, both building and automobile filtration, within other UV products, and we're open for discussions and actively seeking collaboration for our catalyst advancements. So one of my pet hates within the IAQ tech landscape is the claims that go with activated carbon filters, especially longevity. And those in the industry, you all know this. I think we'll leave that there and keep this positive, but it brings me on to the next point. So INB have done a lot of research and development within the washroom sector. And this gave way to innovating a better solution than a standard activated carbon filter for ammonia removal. The two goals of the INB ammonia filter were much greater ammonia adhesion for increased efficiency and to resist moisture, which is a major issue with most activated carbon filters. And that in turn will give a much greater longevity. So as you can see from these tables, the results speak for themselves. Independent testing at the Danish Technical Institute show a greater than 20 times increased efficiency of the INB ammonia filter compared to a standard activated carbon filter. Now, if I just said the results were twice as good, 3 times, or even 5 times better, that would be incredible. But greater than 20 times better than what's commonly used, that's just, it speaks volumes. Ammonia is a major issue in many indoor environments, and there's no getting away from the distinctive smell because we've all got our own sensors. So as with the INB catalyst, we're open for discussion and collaboration on our new patent pending ammonia filter. And we believe that focused filtration for VOCs has to be the way forward within the filtration arena. The next focused filter solution that INB is going to launch is focused on formaldehyde. So our aim at INB was to go from a product manufacturer to a technology provider. And that's the biggest reason why I have joined and the biggest task that I'm faced with. Before we go into the Q&A, I want to finish with this. For buildings to become ASHRAE 241 compliant and have their infection risk management mode in place, they need supplemental technologies to complement any ventilation systems. The supplemental technology that works best with any ventilation system is upper room UVGI, as together they achieve really high levels of clean airflow. So INB has advanced upper room UVGI technology with its ultraviolet range, whilst really reducing the cost and the power consumption. And companies like INB are investing heavily into advancing indoor air quality technologies, but these advances do no good without implementation. So collaboration is the new competition, and we're open to talk. Let's go into the Q&A. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Rich. Let's give it a few seconds for people to send in their questions. You have a Q&A button, so if you wish to send us any questions, you can use that function. Okay. So what about ozone production with your UVGI units, Rich?
The ultraviolet is certified as ozone free, and the standard for being ozone free, I think, is 0.05 parts per million. And ultraviolet was tested at 0.003, so it's ozone free.
Cool. How safe are the units for occupied spaces?
Ultraviolet, I assume. So upper room UVGI is designed to be used in occupied spaces, and the UV radiation shines above head height. That's how that system works. So as long as it's installed properly, then it's safe to use in occupied spaces. We've gone a step further with ultraviolet, and we have included a PIR sensor in the unit, which means that, say somebody was working on a ladder and they went into that UV radiation zone, the unit would cut off. Also fair to mention, I suppose, about the unit rotating side to side. That means that if there is any direct UV light shining, it's for a very short period of time, unlike
I'm not sure if I can demonstrate this because I have it right here, but you can probably see it. And if you're looking straight into it, then the light will pass through it. But as soon as it moves, it won't be affected. So even if you were facing the unit, you'll only see flashes of lights, but then you wouldn't because the sensor would cut it off. Would you collaborate with your competitors on the catalyst tech?
Yeah, in short. So we've developed this technology, and as I said, INB wants to turn from a product manufacturer to a technology provider. And it's no good sitting on the latest technology advances. We want this technology to get out there. So yes, we're open to collaborations, and I see big things for this catalyst. The results are incredible. Happy to share results with anybody. Just drop us a line, and we can share those. And yeah, happy to have any discussions about collaboration. Absolutely.
Cool. You mentioned collaborations with HVAC companies. What kind of collaboration would you see yourself having with I guess HVAC company?
We've already got a suite of technologies. So from focused filtration, say the ammonia filter could easily be integrated into HVAC. Not as easy to integrate the catalyst, but very possible. And then looking at HVAC, like I said before, as technology that complements it, well, upper room UVGI is the perfect technology that complements HVAC, because that increased airflow gives so many more air changes per hour, or equivalent air changes per hour. So I think there's a lot of collaboration that can happen with forward-thinking HVAC companies. Absolutely.
Cool. Another one is outbreak solutions available in outbreak dot solutions, I guess, available in the US. How do we get involved? Can I have this one, Rich?
Absolutely. Yeah, go for it.
So outbreak solution is a template, basically. We believe, as we mentioned, that pathogen outbreaks should be treated the same as other pest outbreaks. So we had this thought one day of when you have an outbreak, who you're gonna call. So we set up outbreak.solutions to show how it can be done practically, like how a business like this would be set up. So for companies who want to jump on board, we can supply all the equipment at very good distribution rates, and also help with marketing collateral if needed. I think for companies who would do it, that they could gain a lot of media attention if they have this new approach to pest control with pathogens. So that would serve them well as well. So if you need to establish yourself as a solutions provider in your territory, also US, it's absolutely no problem.
In any territory, basically.
Yeah.
The products can be sold and used anywhere. So yeah, absolutely. Great. Any other questions?
Yes. So we have one saying, what is the shelf life of the unit? I guess it means shelf life. So what is the shelf life of the unit?
So UV bulbs is 8,000 hours, and we're giving 8,000 hours on the catalyst also. So it depends how often they're used. I think with a unit like this, most probably they'll be left on 24/7, and then it's a year and they need to be changed. I can see another question. I'll just take this one as well. So why 4 models? We started this as being able to sell upper violet both for infection control and also for odor control. Our focus has gone into infection control with the added benefit of odor control. But if odor control is the primary reason that you're looking at upper violet, then that is the reason for the other 3 models as well. To enable one, imagine if head height is an issue and you can't install an upper UV unit, there is a unit with just the ammonia filter inside if odor control is all you're thinking about. We are focusing on upper violet ODO1, which is our catalyst model and which is the most advanced upper room UVGI system there at the moment. Can you provide another question? Shall I just take this, Daniel? I'm not messing with you. So can you provide some information how the unit was tested for removal of VOCs? Well, we can actually send you the test results if you like. They were tested, laboratory tested, standard tests. So we can share those test results with you, or we could maybe put some links to download those test results so everybody can see them.
Awesome. I think the other questions also refer to testing, like ozone testing, other emissions testing. We do have test results. So I think we'll do it more justice if we just reply with an email where we send you the actual information and test results that we've gathered.
Perfect. Good. Well, good attendance. Thank you all very much for joining. Thanks for the questions. Any questions that we haven't specifically answered, we will answer you directly via email. And
we're also going to send you the recording of the webinar. So in case, some people weren't able to join, or you want to share it with others who could benefit from this info, then we're going to send you an email with the recording.
Brilliant. And there'll also be some links to the websites that we've mentioned, which is upperviolet.com, uvcstand.com, and outbreak.solutions, and then obviously our homepage, inbtech.net. Great. Well, thank you everybody for joining, and hopefully I will be speaking with you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.